All right. Well,
What's going
how's it
on?
going?
It's going.
All right.
Finally, I mean, it wasn't the most important game of the season, but finally a game that we win by double digits and
Yep.
probably our most dominant
Yep.
performance of
Yeah.
the year.
Vikings bookended the season with their only double-digit wins, which is nice to see.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, man. I mean, like you said, not a really important game, but it's always nice to win. Always nice to end the regular season on a W. Obviously, we did our part this week to keep in contention for that 2 seed. As of right now, the 49ers are up 7-6. They're at the 50-yard line right now, so we'll see how that game ends up.
Come on, Cardinals. You got
Again,
this. Come
again,
on,
very
Cardinals.
much expecting the 3 seed have to play at home against the Giants and go on the road, most likely.
Hmm.
But yeah, at the end of the day, always nice to end the season with a win, especially second double score win of the year. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, it was kind of we'll kind of get into more of the stats and stuff in a bit here, but it was nice to see the starters played pretty well. Got to see some younger guys continue their progress.
Right.
There were some questionable things in the game, which we'll also talk about.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but at the end of the day, a win's a win, and yeah, move on to the playoffs now. I'm excited.
Yeah, dude. It's time, man. I think we're definitely getting slept on here. I was gonna bring it up on here, but I know on a Bleacher Report article for today, they had like the article that said like the teams that actually have a chance at winning the Super Bowl pretty much and like why they might be able to and why they might not. And we were not on that list. Even the Ravens were on that list, and I don't even think they're making playoffs, right?
No, they're in.
Oh, they are in. They are
Yep.
in. But so how do you put them above us? I don't know. So that kind of makes me I understand like we have had our bad games, but at the end of the day, we win. We come back and fight and win all these games,
Hmm.
which I think is a massive positive thing to have, especially in the postseason. Especially it was nice coming into that was like the best thing about this game. It was nice to come in here and finally handle a team, even for the Bears, like I don't think the Bears wanted us to win that or whatever. I don't even care. It was just so nice to come in and just
Yeah,
beat up a team for once
because
in
the
this entire
Bears
season.
actually have the number one overall pick now because
Yep,
Houston had the
Houston ended
miracle
up
comeback
winning,
at the end, went for
and they really
the
choked that
2 point
one.
conversion to win the game. I know
Why would
everybody
they
said
do that? Come on, Houston.
because Lovey Smith is already thinking he's going to get fired anyway, so he probably
Yeah,
wanted to stick it to him, be like, okay, fine, you guys are going to fire me. There you go, number 2 overall pick. Have fun. I mean, they'll
yeah.
still get a quarterback, but it might not be the one they want.
Right, right. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, because someone's gonna come up and trade with Chicago for Bryce Young. There's no question about it. At least who knows what happens during the offseason. There's a lot of the combine, all the things. A lot of things can change.
Right.
But you can only imagine Bryce Young's a favorite to go number one overall, and that Houston missed out on that one big, and Chicago will probably get quite the haul.
Oh yeah, for
So,
sure, for sure. But
but yeah,
anyway, let's talk Vikings. Let's get into our ups and downs from this game. Yeah.
of course, giving away another Justin Jefferson rookie card right at the end of the show. Yeah, of course. All you got to do is subscribe to our channel. That's all we ask. But I do recommend to hit the bell just to get notifications for more of our videos, more of our live streams, and more of the giveaways that we're going to be doing. So let's jump into this.
Yeah. So our first up, you're gonna recognize the man on our first up, and that is me. Uh, and why am I our first up? Well, I'd like to cut it back to back in April, schedule release.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy and I did a little prediction video. Let's.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I telling you? Let's just watch and listen to this. All right.
Yep. Is the volume not coming in? Do you hear the volume?
Yeah.
I don't hear it.
Could you not hear it?
Uh-uh.
Should be.
If anyone's in this chat, do they hear the video? Speak
Let's just
up.
do this.
Speak up. I don't hear it.
Do you see the captions?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's all that matters. The
Yeah.
captions. Okay, sorry, couldn't hear the
Oh,
video, but
you
13-4
you
prediction for the
predicted
Minnesota
13 and
Vikings,
4. Yeah.
and there we go. I was right. I knew it all along. Had a great feeling that was going to happen, and yeah, man.
Yeah,
13
13
and
and 4. I
4.
mean, Yeah, there was a couple
Call me
people. We've had
Nostradamus.
people on that we were telling our predictions. Obviously, anyone that jumps in here at this point probably knows I predicted 18-0 undefeated and a Super Bowl championship. Partially was kidding, mostly was kidding. I don't know, but still was a lot closer than what people were expected. But even your prediction of 13-4, we had some people who predicted us at 9 wins and 8 wins. And so your 13-4 was looking pretty optimistic. We ended up pulling it off, and that was a good prediction. So
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like I had one of my friend's dad and his brother. They're both, they're not Vikings fans. I think they're the Giants fans. And we were talking about it over the summer. And I'm like, I see 13-4. And they're like, good one. Yeah, right. We'll see. Sure enough, I know what I was talking about. But,
right.
and you really can't. And the biggest reason why I thought we could do it was because of all the 1-score games we lost last year and getting in that new guy in Kevin O'Connell. And I think he's done an amazing job as the head coach of this football team this year, getting them, putting us over the hump in those 1-score games.
Agreed.
And really helping us like figure out how to win. And that's the biggest thing that we were kind of lacking in the Zimmer era. But, as much as I love Kevin O'Connell, the head coach, which brings us into our first down, Kevin O'Connell, the play caller, has been incredibly inconsistent this year, as we know. So, I mean, there's some games where, especially when we're losing or in the fourth quarter, when our offense looks unstoppable.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think he tries to get too cute with things. Sometimes I feel like he's got to be simple. Sometimes I feel like we're too simplistic, but sometimes I feel like we're not simplistic enough in certain scenarios. Obviously, today, I didn't get to watch it, but I was listening to it and I kind of saw some of the tweets.
I can
And I
kind of
saw what
go
had happened.
through it.
Yeah. Why don't you? Because it was questionable. It was questionable.
So this is so the thing about this play here, this down of Kevin O'Connell, this isn't down on him in general. Obviously, we came and beat the Bears' ass with our second string and our backups playing the second half of this game. I'm gonna shout out to Skol. What is it? Skol TYA catch 84. Randy Moss's number. Hello, fellas, ready for the playoffs? Yeah, let's go, Skol. Fucking playoffs. People are sleeping on us. We're gonna come in. We should definitely beat the Lions. I mean, obviously, we're gonna have all our videos leading up to it, but it's gonna be a fun week, man. I'm super excited. But back to the Kevin O'Connell thing, man. So what pretty much happened is we went down. This is right at the end of the first half. And I think we had like 54. I think it was second down, second and 5, something like that. There's like 54 seconds left. And we decided to let the clock run all the way to 25. And then we had 2 timeouts. We called 1 timeout at 25 seconds. So if you did that, it seems like if you're going to let the time run out that low and it's second down, you'd think you were going to run you would have passed the next play. That's what irked me about that. It's like, why would you let the clock come down all the way there to that point and then not make a pass? So that kind of threw me off. So yeah, we ended up running the play. Obviously the time's running down. We have to use our last timeout. We have 20 seconds left. And then we obviously go on 3rd and 5 or whatever. Kirk Cousins throws it to Delvin Cook short of the end zone. He gets tackled, and we have like 10 seconds to run off the field and try to get a field goal, which was very impressive that we almost pulled that off. But that was like, we cannot have that scenario happen in playoffs. We're lucky that this is something that we dealt with right before playoffs in a game that really didn't matter too much to us, that it was obviously we're handling this Bears team. But there's no question that, that was some terrible play calling. Like right before half, if you left that at the 5-yard line with 0 points, we cannot have that going into playoffs.
Exactly.
So that one kind of irked me.
Yeah, and see, I don't know. Yeah, Kevin O'Connell's done some things like that where you're just really questioning, like, why, what went into that thought process. And for the most part, he's been pretty good with clock management and like timeout management and stuff. This was just a blunder, and I get it. It's kind of a pointless game. Trash Baby 420, thanks for joining. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Hey, let us know what you guys thought about this game and what you guys' thoughts are going into playoffs.
But obviously, again, though, love Kevin O'Connell as a coach. He's done amazing things for this team. I think the sky's the limit for him. He'll learn. He's still a relatively young play caller, but just some of the things he's done this year and that last drive in the first half kind of really cemented it. There's a lot that he needs to learn. This offense is so talented. We should be able to be much better than what we put on tape sometimes.
Yeah.
And obviously, you got to put a little bit of that on Kirk Cousins. You just don't make that throw. You don't need to. Then you're just rushing your team. You
Yeah.
just if it's not there, don't try to just make a completion. Get the ball out of bounds.
And it was a chip shot. Obviously, we have Greg Joseph who misses extra points all the time, but it's a chip shot. Like you can't leave points on the board there.
Right,
And part of you do feel like they weren't 100% serious with this game or something. Like kind of where they started their starters, but it really felt like we came here to dominate the Bears, and the Bears were fighting, but I don't know. Part of them like they want the number one overall pick, so.
for sure. What does he got here? Perfect would be Niners lose, Pack lose, Seattle wins, Vikings 2 seed play Seattle.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
that's kind of what we're hoping. Looking at this game, it's still 7-6, so Arizona's actually hanging in there pretty tough.
Right.
That would be ideal. I'd love to get that 2 seed back, but obviously, it sucks that at this point we had to kind of wait for. We're waiting for someone else to fail so we can get into that spot instead of just taking care of business in Green Bay last week
Yeah.
and doing it ourselves. But and obviously going back to that last drive in the first half, it did kind of end it badly for our starters, who was actually our next up was the starting offense, especially after last week. Except for
Right.
that last drive, pretty phenomenal. Kirk was 17-20, 225 in the touchdown. Madison played well today, 10 carries, 54 yards. Delvin Cook, we'll talk about him later. KJ Osborne, 5 catches, 117. CJ Ham,
Hey, boy.
Duluth boy CJ Ham,
CJ
4
Ham.
catches, 47 yards. Justin
Yeah.
Jefferson, 4 catches, 38
Dude.
yards.
I want to say though, before moving on, like there is one key ingredient to a lot of our really good wins this season. The Buffalo Bills game, CJ Ham scored. The Colts game, CJ Ham scored. CJ Ham is secretly the key to our victory here. So I don't know, man. Maybe in playoffs we got to use him a little bit more in the offense. Let him get that game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Let's bring Dad in here. This is my dad, everybody. Kirk's fault for throwing a short pass for happy. Yep, exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
That was a little bit unfortunate. But
What's going on, Mr. Granda?
Ham wide receiver too. Yeah, he played well.
That's what
Nice
I'm
to see
saying.
Irv get in there. 3 catches, 14 yards. Thielen, 2 catches for 8 yards only, but he did have the touchdown, which was nice. So yeah, honestly, all around, I think it was a really solid day for the starters. I know you're going against a Bears team that wanted to lose this game. Yeah, starting defense did decent. I think we'll talk about them a little bit later, but obviously a couple nice interceptions, which we'll get into later on. But
yeah, and that's so pretty much they had like that last drive by the offense was not good. Well, it was actually really good until the end, of course. We were driving down the field better than we have all season long in that first half with our starting offense, and our defense looked fantastic. Other than that one play where we let whatever Jones get to the sidelines and run like a 30-yard catch and run touchdown or whatever. Obviously that was bad. But overall, our starters, after a week like last week where we got our asses whooped by the Packers, which is like pretty much a worst scenario for any Vikings fan in pretty much any sports, to see our starters come back, and we've talked about it up to this week that it would be nice to see them start the game and kind of get in a rhythm, because you do not want to leave with a bad taste in your mouth losing to the Packers going into the playoffs. So I think we did that. We came out here and we probably had our most consistently well played first half offensively specifically, and I would probably even say defensively in the beginning of this game, and we were able to do that and rest our players and still end up getting the W. So that's huge.
Paul, thanks for jumping in again. Love
What's
it.
going on, Paul?
And then obviously I will give a shout out. I think we'll talk about some of the backups later on, but Nick Mullins coming in 11-13, 116, had the bad interception, but looked pretty solid, and he had made some nice throws to Jalen Naylor as well as KJ Osborne. So yeah, and obviously that's the thing, KJ Osborne, and we'll talk about KJ Osborne and Thielen here since technically they are starters on this team. I wish Osborne could do this more consistently, because he's shown us he can do it, but you just don't see it at the level to where you think he's going to be your legitimate number 2 wide receiver. Unfortunately, I think the talent is there, but we just need to find that consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And then Thielen, I don't know, 2 catches, 8 yards. He did have the touchdown, but just kind of more of the same with what he's been doing this year. But
yeah,
if he can keep getting us some red zone scores, then in the playoffs,
Tyler Hawkinson had that really nice catch and run on 3rd and 10, I believe, and he probably caught at like 2 or 3 yards before the first and broke a tackle and moved upfield for like 6 more yards or something. So that was fantastic. It was good to see the starters. They came out and played really well. I think there would be a little bit of gain of confidence going into the season. I do want to bring up Justin Jefferson and his hair, though, man. That threw me off. I tweeted it out, but that threw me off so hard because I was so confused. I'm like, who is this guy? Like with his hair coming over his helmet, like Randy Moss, or someone mentioned Eric Kendricks. I'm like, dude, it did look like Eric Kendricks. That threw me off. But anyways, yeah, overall the starters were fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think that is really good to go into the off season with that, or not off season, but the playoffs.
Jamie, I'll let you grab this one since I didn't get to watch the first half.
So thoughts on Reed today? Man, I have a really hard time judging offensive linemen, mostly because I don't know, it's like a boring thing for me to just pay too much attention to, other than when it's obvious that our quarterback isn't getting enough time. And based on that, Kirk Cousins had tons of time in this game. And if that's the case, and there wasn't like a ton of false starts like there was last week, or there wasn't, yeah, that I know it's that Randy hair on JJ. It was sick. It just threw me off. I wasn't expecting it. But
There
yeah,
was
I
one.
mean,
I thought there was one snap issue with Reed today that led to that delay of game.
yeah, there might have been. There might have been just that one, but compared to last week, where we had like 3 or 4 of those, and just from a pass blocking standpoint, Kirk Cousins seemed to have all day in that pocket. So just from that, but I would probably say that I did not pay enough attention to Chris Reed specifically, but
yeah, so starters, nice bounce back game after that debacle in Green Bay. Our next down, and this one I kind of love to talk about. Delvin Cook.
Yeah, I'll let him talk about again. We do have the Justin Jefferson rookie card. Stick around to the end. We will be giving this away. So yeah, stick around. Can we talk about Cook's fumble?
We're
My
just
goodness,
about to get there, man.
yeah,
Okay, so
this is Casey's taking over here.
Jamie knows I'm not okay. Look, I like Delvin Cook, and like every time someone talks shit about a player, it's like they always think you're attacking the person. Like I like Delvin Cook. I think he's got a lot of great leadership abilities. Delvin Cook was a great running back in his prime, but now with all the injuries he's had, the money you're paying him, it's just he's not that same guy anymore. Yes, I know he has a couple big play in the Bills game, big play in the Colts game to kickstart those comebacks, but it's just there's too much. Okay, he has the splash play every now and then, but there's too much. Just Delvin got to the 1 yard line, takes a hit, gets nothing. Like he just doesn't. He's not that same guy that can break tackles and bust out big runs anymore. But it's coming too common. Exactly. Then the fumble, of course. I believe I know he has a couple fumbles this year. But that one, I didn't get to see it, but they made it sound like it was pretty lazy handling of the ball.
Yeah. Especially we can't have that going into playoffs, man. We can't. That's so killer.
But he's just not that same guy. And that's the biggest thing with me is he doesn't get any yards after contact. They always say he's met at the line of scrimmage, and that's pretty much it. So I don't know, man. But every time I talk crap, he always has a big play and makes me eat my words a little bit. But like, I don't know. It's just I think his time's coming to an end, and with the money you're paying him, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just, 11 carries, 37 yards.
Yeah.
Then he got hurt again. Had to go in the tent. He came back, but it's just the too common thing is just kind of the thing with Delvin Cook. Everything that goes wrong with Delvin Cook is just becoming too common to me, and it's sad. Like it's sad to see with a lot of these guys, with the like Adam Thielens of the world, and even some of the guys on defense. It's like they're aging out, and they're just not the players that we've come to know. It's not like we're dealing with 2018, 2019 Delvin here. It's the sad decline, but it is a decline, and unfortunately, I think Forr's time in Minnesota is coming down to the playoffs. The last few games here, and that'll be about it. Maybe he can carry us to a Super Bowl and ride off into the sunset, but I don't know. Delvin Cook, I don't think we're going to see him on this team next year. He's just not that same guy anymore, especially with what you're paying him money-wise. So.
Yeah, I like Delvin Cook. Obviously, a lot of people like Delvin Cook. But, you are right on the money thing. Like, do I think he's that same player that does pretty much – it's hard to agree with any running back contract that is over 10 million at this point. Nobody can do it. You can pick, like Delvin Cook was a second round pick. Breece Hall was a second round pick. There's a lot of these running backs that are late, not first round picks, second, third round picks this year. I don't know what Damian Pierce, I think he's like a 5th round pick or something. So you can replace running backs pretty easy these days. But I do think Delvin Cook is really good. Maybe he's not the same exact player, but he still has that breakout speed. And I do still think he is one of the better running backs in the league. though you are right that we do not see him breaking tackles at the right at the line of scrimmage
I
there.
mean, and maybe we shouldn't be running up the middle anymore either. Like that could be a part of the issue as well.
Yeah, and you can tell when Madison's in there. You can tell when he's in there that he gets that 1 to 2 yards every single time he touches, even when it gets blown up. That's another thing is it always seems like Delvin Cook just gets absolutely blown up. Like he got hit bad in this game right at the end of the second half, but you could tell like the defensive lineman just went right through. The thing about it though is like when he went down, like in my opinion, when he went down this game, and if there was any chance he's not going to be making playoffs, obviously he came back, everything was all good. I don't know. I still like our offense way better, and I feel a lot better with it with Delvin Cook in the backfield instead of Madison. So I wouldn't that's how I feel. So I think going into the playoffs, like I'm glad we do have him, but going into the offseason, obviously there's going to be some things that we have to figure out because if we're paying, how much are we pay him like 10 million a
Something
year,
like
right?
that. 9 or
Something
10,
like that.
yeah.
That is a lot for a running back at this point. All I know is that hopefully whatever happens with him, we just need to keep CJ around. So
Yeah, I don't know. That's just my biggest thing is just Delvin just doesn't seem like that same guy anymore. And
did
I don't know.
Robert Smith
I just
ever
don't think you
fumble?
can justify paying him what you're paying him for what he's doing right now. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not
just
really
a
sure. I
thought.
don't remember either.
I don't think he did. Moving on to our next up, we have Duke Shelley. So
Yeah,
Duke
it's this guy
Shelley,
we had to talk
obviously
about.
big game for him. Waived by Chicago before the season started. We picked him up going into week 1. He was on a practice squad for a bit. We all know the story. Came in, huge pass breakup in Buffalo, overtaking Cam Dantzler on the depth chart, and today gets his first career interception against the team that let him go. And
Yeah.
super awesome. I think Duke Shelley's been playing phenomenal. I hope we
Dude,
can
he
lock up
has
long
been.
term. Patrick Peterson also had nice interceptions. Well, I shouldn't say nice because both of them were just kind of Duke
Duke
Shelley's was a
Shelley's
really
was
good
cool.
play.
Duke Shelley had to it was like behind
He had
him
to
or
track the
whatever.
ball.
Yeah.
Patrick Peterson was just kind of he gave it up to him and whatever. the Duke of Shell. That's actually a good name because of the Shell defense. I
The
like it.
Duke of Shell,
I like it.
dude. That's a bad. Who you come up with that by yourself, dude?
That's pretty
I don't
good.
come
That's
up with
pretty
shit
good.
like that.
But yeah, Duke Shelley, Patrick Peterson, both interceptions, but Duke's was fantastic.
Yeah,
Man, having him across from Patrick Peterson, pretty sick. I like it. I like
and
the
put
combo
down on
there.
the side. I wouldn't mind that. I mean, what's his name? What's his name's been other than the Colts game, right? Was it the Colts game?
Sullivan.
Sullivan. He's been up and down all season. That
Yeah.
Colts game, he obviously he almost had those 2 touchdowns or whatever. But he's been up and down. I love Dantzler, so I would like to see more of him. But man, Duke Shelley's been doing really well on the outside, and I do want to mention because I know Dantzler, they talked to Dantzler about Duke Shelley kind of taking that starter position, and Dantzler was super humble about it and was just saying like whatever helps his team. And Duke Shelley's been playing fantastic, so it definitely gives me a lot more respect for Dantzler, which I already had. I'm a big Dantzler guy, but no, it is crazy though. Duke Shelley, man. I mean, I think he's like one. I think he's pretty like top 5 or something in PFF. Obviously, he hasn't been playing as much as some of these other guys, but still, it's crazy for a guy to come off our practice squad and step in a position that we need so badly and really step up. So hopefully he continues doing that in playoffs.
I don't remember Robert Smith fumbling. I don't think he did have a big issue with fumbling. I mean, obviously, I didn't get to watch a lot of Robert Smith, if any at all. But
a little bit, but
yeah.
Michael Bennett was like, because I got into it was
this one's big too.
Michael Bennett,
Tyrus Tonga, yeah, he played really well. He has been playing really well, making a lot of impact on the team. What were you gonna say?
Oh, just that I think for us, we were kind of like I got really into football and Vikings. I was like, I don't know, 12, and that was when Michael Bennett was the starters right after Robert Smith. I saw some stuff with Robert Smith, but then it was like Michael Bennett, then Adrian Peterson came in, and the rest was history as far as
we had like that weird Adrian Peterson and Chester Taylor both on the same team the year after Taylor had 1,000 yards.
Michael Bennett, Chester Taylor, Adrian Peterson.
Weird stuff. So we couldn't think of another down, so we're gonna do another up, and that is Jalen Naylor. Last week obviously had his first touchdown. This week 4 catches, 62 yards. Now again, like we saw some flashes, which is cool. We need kind of like that speedy deep threat guy, which obviously his nickname is Speedy Naylor. He's fast.
He looked good today.
He played good today. But also we got it. It's 2 games. Last year, Amir Smith-Marset had 2 touchdowns against Chicago in the final week, and people were kind of already labeling him like the number 2, number 3 receiver next year. He's going to step up huge. We ended up cutting him, went to the Bears. He hasn't done anything for
Downstairs strip
them.
sacked them when we
Yep.
won the
So
game.
at the end of the day, who knows? We still got to pump the brakes. We got to see, but it's nice seeing, especially with this draft class. That's the thing. Our draft class hadn't been too impressive up to this point with the injuries to the top end guys. But Asamoah had been playing well until obviously he was out today. We finally are starting to see something from Naylor. Asezi Adamewa had a couple huge plays on defense. The huge tackle for loss. He's been looking pretty solid. So yeah, I mean, I'm the draft class is starting to look a little better, and it's a lot of like the bottom end guys that are coming up. But we did see a lot of good things from Caleb Evans. Lucien, obviously, we didn't get to see enough of him or Booth to really say.
Right.
But yeah, it was nice seeing some of the guys step up, and Naylor could be a
Asamoah
guy
again too.
down the road that we'll end up using. Yeah, we were thinking about putting him in there, but he did nail a 50-yarder as well as a 40.
It was a hard one.
41-yarder.
Yeah.
The extra point, yeah, it's frustrating, but I mean, yeah, I understand.
I think he could have been in this down. You can't miss extra points. Like you can miss a field goal and not be in the down, but if you mix an extra point, and he's been doing it all season, you know.
But he also nailed the 61-yarder a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
so you know the talent's there. That's the weirdest thing.
But in playoffs, you got to be consistent for 4 games in a row if you want to win a Super Bowl. So
yeah, for sure.
You know, you can't have those games where you just miss.
Right. We put him on the downs last week, I think. So we were just gonna give him a pass on this week, and hopefully he turns it around. But so that's the ups and downs segment of this. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's another W, 13-4. Like I said, showed the video earlier. I did predict that going into the season. I was right. People doubted me. Arizona just scored 14-13.
Hey.
So that game is closer than I thought it was going to be. 4:41 left in the second quarter.
There was a lot of Viking fans that were already they pretty much were acting like the number 2 seed wasn't even possible. But you got to have some hope, man. You got to have hope. I don't care.
David Blau, former Vikings practice squad guy. Maybe he's just going to help us out. He's going to help out. He's going to help us. And yeah, that'd be sweet. Love to see it.
Number 2.
But yeah, I mean, obviously we're kind of moving on to the playoffs now. It was, again, fun win. 13-4 is a solid record for the first year head coach and Kevin O'Connell. I'm really excited to see how he's going to get this team ready to go for the playoffs. In certain situations, obviously, at times it seems like he doesn't get the team ready to play. Obviously, we've seen that in a couple games, especially last week in Green Bay and a couple other times after some big emotional wins. But I think he's going to have this team firing on all cylinders going into the playoffs. Fingers crossed that people are thinking maybe he was hiding. Maybe all year they've been hiding their big plays because after you started out with that huge divisional lead, thinking you're going to make it. So like, why show too much? Maybe same thing on defense. I'm hoping that's it. I doubt it. I just still think he's learning as a play caller, but as a head coach, man, he's the right leader for this team. And we're seeing it come to fruition here with 13-4 record. There's a certain Kirk Cousins fan on Twitter that's saying that he's overrated because of basically because
hater, you said?
What's that?
Oh, Kirk Cousins who says KOC is overrated?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got you.
A certain Kirk Cousins fan on Twitter.
No, I know what you're talking
saying
about.
Kevin O'Connell is overrated, mainly because he didn't let Kirk Cousins get his 30 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah.
So then he could have brought up the cool stat of Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins had he's like the 6th quarterback to have 3 or 4 straight seasons of 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. But it didn't come to be. But for Kirk Cousins, 29 touchdowns, 40, I think it was like 4,500 yards, 14 interceptions. But everybody said if he throws more interceptions and he takes a few more risks, we're all going to be okay with it. And that's what he did this year. I thought statistically not his greatest season, but what he did with the fourth quarter comebacks and stuff, I was really happy. I'm happy with what Kirk Cousins put out this year.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge Kirk lover. Obviously, if people who watch this podcast, I probably already know this. But I like Kirk Cousins. He's growing on me, whatever. There's no question in my mind. This has been by far his best season of his career. And the way he's been able to pull, I feel so much more confident about him going into playoffs, knowing that he can bring a team back at the 2-minute drill, end of fourth quarter comebacks, whatever. That's really good skill to have going in the fourth quarter. And that's something I didn't think he really had up until this year, maybe parts of last year, but mostly this year. So if we're down going into playoffs, at the very least, we kind of have that feeling like we're never out of this game. And that's going to be nice going into there. And it's actually true.
Yeah. So reading through a couple comments here. It's KOC's first year as head coach, better than I expected. I expected it to be well, obviously, with my 13-4 prediction coming into the season. So yeah, it's exactly what I expected. But no, you're 100% right. I thought I think he's done a great job of being a head coach this year. I kind of
Yeah.
wish he would give up offensive play calling duties, give it to Wes Phillips. Maybe if Miami gets bounced in the first round of the playoffs and the Dolphins decide to move on from, which would be stupid. Maybe bring in Mike McDaniel to be our offensive play caller.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
not
I
happening.
don't think Kevin O'Connell is going to be giving up play calling duties, but I kind of wish he would, just because I think if he could focus on being just the head coach, everything. I mean, he's so good at it, as we're already seeing. But I
Yeah.
also understand wanting to be your own offensive play caller. I think he'll figure it out. He's still young. He's obviously smart.
Right.
He knows football like the back
Yeah,
of his
yeah,
hand,
yeah.
so he'll figure it out. Especially coming from the Sean McVay coaching tree, I think he'll be fine there. Hope our defense wakes up. I hope so too.
It's starting
But
to. They're starting to
yeah,
compare after that. What the Lions game, other than the Packers game, was pretty shitty. But after that Lions game, our defense is starting to get more pressure on the quarterbacks. Today, I felt like we were getting to there. Obviously, we're talking about pretty shitty quarterbacks and Peterson and I forgot. I don't even know the other guy
Peterman
that
and
brought out for
Boyle.
yeah
But I
Boyle.
think he
So
played for the Packers last year. Tim Boyle. I thought he was like one of their backups or something. But also last week in Green Bay, they were putting a couple bad spots, so you really can't pin it all on
yeah,
them defensively.
but they
But
definitely need to come to playoffs with a lot of energy, and we need to get to the quarterback. Like we need to play up blitzes. We need to be creative. We need to play. We have to play with
yeah,
some balls. You know,
yeah.
we can't. That's the only way I can see us doing this. Dallas is so
And
bad. I
Dallas is
need.
so
What is
bad.
the score of that game
They're
now?
down 13-0. Washington has
Nice.
the ball again. So
I might as well just bring up. Let's get this going here. But I want to bring that because I have a rookie auto of um, Sam Howell. So I kind of need him to do good tonight, just to kind of boost up that value before the offseason. Boyle played for the Packers, Lions, and now the Bears.
wow.
Yeah,
Every team we'll
that
bring him in. We'll
sucks.
bring him in next year to be our third string quarterback. Because another thing from this game, I don't know what the contract situation looks like for Mullins, but I think we got to do everything we can to keep him in the building as our backup because he's a very quality backup quarterback.
All right, everybody. Hashtag skol to get in on this Justin Jefferson rookie card giveaway. Comment hashtag skol. A lot of you guys should know what to do, but yep, entries hashtag skol.
So we'll wait for that to happen. Any other final thoughts you have on this game and this team going into the playoffs?
Mostly it was really nice to have that bounce back performance by our starters and go into the playoffs with that happening. I think that's the biggest thing. Kind of have that little momentum, that little confidence after a game like the Packers.
For sure. And the 13-4 thing just sounds good. 13 wins in the teens, man.
Mm-hmm. Hashtag skol. Let's go. We got one entry. Everybody in here. Hashtag skol. 2 entries. Let's keep them going. Hashtag skol. Solid. Easy. Hashtag skol. And all you have to do is subscribe to the channel. Super easy. Can't get any easier than that. Just light that comment section up. Let's get all. I mean, we have 6 people in here right now. We can get at least a couple more in here. There we go.
Thank you.
Kofi, let's go. Skol TYA Catch 84. Been in here this whole time. Let's get you a free card, my man.
There's my dad. My dad's hopping in.
Let's go.
By the way, I know people are going to say it's unfair that parents can win, but it's not. It's
Thanks,
randomized,
brother.
so it is.
Do you want to Skol? Are you trying to win this rookie card? Just hashtag Skol, man. You get that entry in here. Did he do it? Did you do it? We got 5 entries. Want to make sure that you are.
Yep, I think he is in there. It looks like.
All right, let's run this thing. Boom. Justin Jefferson rookie card, and
Where got Paul? If Paul somehow wins again,
Michael Gamble. Congrats, Michael. Congrats. Are you there, Michael? Michael, got to make sure that we can get your mailing address and everything.
cool. Obviously, yeah. Don't put your mailing address in the comment section here, but go ahead and hit us up on.
Yes, Michael. Do you have us? Are you following us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook or anything? Michael? Do you want to follow us? We're GG Sports Podcast on all of those. I just need that way you can DM us so we know we can contact you to get your mailing address so I can send this out to your house. Otherwise, if
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
do that. And then
Oh,
if not, worst case scenario, just comment under this video and then I'll make sure we get into contact with you that way. Congratulations, man. We really appreciate it.
yeah, and thanks everybody else for joining. Vikings are 13-4.
13-4 going into playoffs.
Moving on to the playoffs. NFC North champs, next NFC champs, and then Super Bowl champs.
Yep.
And everything will be good. So thanks for joining, and yeah, we'll talk. This upcoming week we got one more. We got another live stream with Dave on Wednesday night.
I think we
regular video on Friday. Looking
who do
forward
we
to the
have
playoff
this weekend
game.
again? Dustin Baker from he's a big Twitter guy, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Dustin Baker, he does. I don't know. He's like one of the biggest Twitter people, but we're supposed to have him this week. This should be a really good show. We got some juicy stuff for him that I think everybody will like.
Yeah, keep an eye on the Twitter. Once we see the playoff schedule, we'll be tweeting that out, talking about that a little bit. Probably, maybe do a video on it. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, thanks for joining, and we'll see you guys next time.
Skol Vikes.